Hey everyone, it's another Tuesday and another installment of Krames on Games. And this week we're going to be looking at Life Goes On by Infinite Monkeys Entertainment. Life Goes On is a comically morbid platform game where you guide heroic knights to their demise and use their dead bodies to solve puzzles. Impale knights on spikes to create a safe path, catch a knight on a saw blade to strategically land the body on a button, freeze your knights into a block of ice to reach higher ground, and make your way through the strange, treacherous, and trap-ridden world to find the Cup of Life. On your quest, you will summon knight after knight and brutally sacrifice them to solve each challenging puzzle. And life goes on, death is not a setback, it is only the means to success. Life Goes On has a little bit of a different view on death than most other games. As opposed to it being the end, it's a means to an end, which is morbid, but it also works out pretty well. Which means that if you want each death to be meaningful, it can be. Or if you just want to kill a bunch of knights, which I have done on occasion, it can be pretty fun too. It's a well put together puzzle game that really challenges the way you think and how you're going to use these different buttons and mechanics that they introduce you slowly throughout the game. And these mechanics are introduced fairly well. You continuously use them throughout the entire game, but they only go about 2 or 3 levels before they introduce the next one, just long enough for you to get comfortable with it. And most all of them are really fun, like impaling a knight on spikes so you can either drop him somewhere else or just use him as leverage to get to the next platform, using a flamethrower to incinerate the knight once its existence is no longer necessary, or shooting them out of a cannon. And trying to figure out the different ways in which to use these different mechanics was super fun and added to the challenge. The game goes through themed chapters of about 16 to 20 levels apiece, and each level goes deeper and deeper into the theme of the chapter. It gives a really cool atmosphere to each chapter and a feel of progression towards that epic conclusion. And all the while you're pounding your keyboard or your desk or whatever it is that you pound out of frustration and rage as you try and figure out why you can't complete the level. And then it clicks. It all comes together and then you feel like you've earned it. It's incredibly rewarding and you just keep clicking the next level and the next level and the next level, and before you know it, time's gone by, maybe a couple hours even. And if you're a bit more of a completionist, then there's a couple more goals than just beating the level and getting the Cup of Life. There is a time limit in which you can beat it within, a maximum number of knights used, and if you can complete the criteria while getting eaten by Jeff, the rocky, froggy looking guy. So there is no shortages of challenges, and life goes on. Now let's get into the basic mechanics of the game. The goal is to get your knight from the starting point all the way across the map to the Cup of Life, all the while sacrificing knights and avoiding obstacles. You start off on the spawn point, and any other spawn point that you touch immediately becomes your next spawn point. Now that's very important to keep track of because there are multiple spawn points in most of the levels, and sometimes they try and mess with you. Then there's the spike traps that you use to jump and grab onto knights you've sacrificed before, the pressure buttons and the toggle buttons, cannons, ice blocks, and, well, you get the picture. Each level is an experiment and challenge in and of its own. The first time going in there, you just have to test and see what happens and what unlocks what, and you rack your brain for about 2 minutes depending on how long the level is. And then, as I said before, it just clicks. You have that moment of enlightenment and you grab the Cup of Life. Each level has its own bit of awesome and creativity put into it, and you can tell they really did care when putting these levels together. And especially the final levels of the chapter, like trying to solve a puzzle while sliding down a mountain, while sliding on your past knight's ice block, and then crashing into a castle when it's all done. And at the end of every single level, it shows you the score and also piles up all the bodies of the knights that you've used. And don't forget the crazy names that are scrolling by each time you kill a knight on the bottom of the screen. Each name is a hilarious medieval themed one, and it just cracks me up every single time I read one. Life Goes On is a challenging, hilarious, and especially frustrating side-scrolling puzzle game, and I would highly recommend it to anybody, especially with a $12.99 price point. If you're looking for a fun, challenging puzzle game, looking for just another game to play, or you just want to let out frustration and kill lots of pixelated knights, then this might be the game for you. You can go grab it on Steam or get it from their website from the Humble Store at lifegoesongame.com. Well, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of Krames on Games. If you really enjoyed this review, please give me a like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. If there's a game you guys want me to take a look at, or you're a developer looking to get yourself out there, let me know on Twitter at Krames12 or shoot me a message here on YouTube. But until next week, I'll see you later.